Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing the Anti-TBR tag. This tag was created by Nicole and her books, and I was tagged by Heidi's Bookish Adventures. I'll link both of their tag videos down below. And this tag is basically looking at all of the books that you do not plan to read. Prompt 1. A popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. For me, I think this would have to be The 10,000 Doors of January by Alexi Harrow. This is something that I think so many people love. I think it's supposed to have like beautiful writing and a great atmosphere. It's a portal fantasy, and I just am not interested in reading it. This actually was something that was nominated for both the BookTube SFF Awards and the Hugo Awards this year, and I chose not to read it because I have read some short stories by Alexi Harrow before that have really gotten to me. I think that her writing truly is beautiful, and I think that the worlds that she builds are really fascinating, but I find her themes very pernicious. Often it seems on the surface that she's doing something that is really progressive and good, but underlying that I find some very problematic content, and it could just be my interpretation and my reading of her work, but it bothers me so much, so I'm just not interested in reading this book. Prompt 2, a classic book or author that you don't have an interest in reading. I think for me, this is going to be Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Although this is a very beloved classic, there are so many people who have this as one of their favorite books. I think that this is not the book for me because I do not like melodrama, and this book really sounds like it is so much melodrama. I actually tried to start reading this a couple of times in high school and college, and I just couldn't get past the first chapter. I was so just annoyed with the book, and I really like the take on it that is done in texts from Jane Eyre by Daniel M. Lavery. That book is so funny. It's all of these sort of satires of classic works of literature, and the satire that is in that book for Wuthering Heights is hilarious. It's one of the best ones in there, but it really convinces me that I should never read this book because the melodrama would get to me so quick. Prompt 3, an author whose books you have no interest in reading, and 3.2, which you can combine, a problematic author. For this, I think I would say H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft is somebody who has been really influential in terms of weird fiction and horror and kind of just in the SFF genre in general. So there's some part of me which was interested in reading his works before I learned all of that. Although I did try to read one of his stories once, and it was also pretty boring and put me to sleep. But his writing is so problematic. It's not just that as a person he was super bigoted, but his writing itself has so many themes that are just sexist and racist and all sorts of problems. So I don't want to read any of H.P. Lovecraft. However, there are so many cool works that have been coming out in the past few years that are new modern takes on Lovecraftian horror from marginalized authors that are just awesome. So this is a genre that I'm very interested in, and I have read a number of books in it. So I'm currently reading Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark, which is awesome. I've read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which really is so powerful. The Dream Quest of Velvet Bow by Kij Johnson, which is a very beautiful, slow feminist take on one of his stories. And I've got my eye on The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Laval. Prompt 4, an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided that their books are not for you. So I actually can't think of any authors where I've read multiple books of their work before deciding it wasn't for me, but there's a ton where I've read part or one of their books and decided it wasn't for me. Notably, George R.R. Martin. I read just the first maybe quarter or half of Game of Thrones quite a long time ago, so long before the TV show, and I did not like it. It was violent, characters kept dying left and right, and I was just like, this is not for me. So I put that series down, and I am not about to read anything by him because he does some pretty awful things to his characters. Prompt 5, a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. Following off my previous answer, grimdark fantasy. I definitely love fantasy, but I do not like grimdark. I just don't like the awfulness of it. It is very harsh, it's very violent, it's very graphic, very gruesome, and just so upsetting. So that's not really what I'm looking for in my fantasy, and this is just not the genre for me. Prompt 6, a book that you've bought that you will never read, and this could be a book that you have unhauled or returned unread to the library. This is one that I had to think about for a while because I don't generally get books that I'm not interested in reading. But I did remember one from quite a while ago, which was The Rape of Nanking by Iris Chang. So Iris Chang wrote this nonfiction book, which is all about sort of the war atrocities that the Japanese did on Nanking in China. And this is a book that is nonfiction about a really, really awful period in history. The reason I bought it was because she had come to speak at my university and I had been so impressed by everything she had to say that I was really, really interested in reading the book. And I got it, and then I could just never bring myself to read it. So I think I held on to that book for about a decade before I finally just admitted to myself, I am never going to pick up this book. The content is just too heavy for me. I'm just not up to it, and I unhauled it. Question 7, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you have started and DNF'd. So there are so many series that could fit into this prompt because I often start series and just am not into them and DNF them. But one of these series is The Kingkiller Chronicles, which starts with The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. So this is a very beloved series. So many people who love fantasy love this series. And in fact, one of my best friends, this is his favorite book. And so I had picked it up and really expected to love it. And then I just did not. The main character, Kvothe, is really kind of full of himself, just very arrogant. And the book read like him just bragging. And I could not get into it. I DNF'd the first book, and I just don't have any interest in continuing. Prompt 8, a new release you have no interest in reading? For this, I would say, probably like many people, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Like everybody else, I was totally into The Hunger Games when it came out. I started reading it after I had seen the movies and just thought it was a ton of fun. But I don't have any interest in picking up this prequel, not only because I'm just not really in the mood for that series anymore, but also because it's written from the perspective of Snow, and that just seems weird. It just seems, a lot of people have said this, but why was that the story that needed telling? There are so many other things that I would be more interested in reading set in that world, but not this one. So this for sure just really doesn't appeal to me. Okay, so those are my answers to the anti-TBR tag. I would like to tag Cynthia at Bookwhimsy, who I will link below, because Cynthia reads so eclectically. I'd be really, really interested to hear what sorts of things she has on her not to read list. So Cynthia, if you're interested, I'd love to hear your answers. Also, anybody else who's interested in doing this tag, please go ahead, do it. You can say that I tagged you. Let me know down below. I'd love to see your answers. And if you guys have any thoughts on the books that are on my list of things I do not want to read, I'd love to hear them. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below.